Hello everybody, and today I've got an exciting game that was also played in the SA Online Olympiad selection tournament a while ago, but in the under 20 section. And well, this was a good game, and generally it was very exciting because both Devon here with the white pieces and Banele, they were gunning for first place, and this was actually Devon's opportunity to surpass Banele. And during the game it actually looked really well for him. His chances were really good. So let's see what happened. We had a Sicilian, a closed Sicilian with the move knight c3, d6, and now d4. C takes d4, and all of this is actually theory. Queen d2, and white is just setting up queenside castles. So we here with bishop e2, we can see he's ready to go queenside castle, but both players know the theory still. Castles, f4, a6. And generally speaking, moves that were played in this position include knight f3, and white is generally happy with playing g4 without even protecting the pawn, knowing that after the knight's on f3, playing g4 would allow a rook to g1 with tempo and potentially a great attack because of the bishop over here. But we can already see that we've got a game that's going to be very aggressive. And well, Devon's definitely playing for the win over here, and he comes up with a novelty, which is pretty cool. Bishop e2. I don't know if he prepped it. He took about 25 seconds to play it, so I'm not too sure if this was prepped, but it's a novelty. This move hasn't been played before. But I actually like the move quite a lot. b5 makes a lot of sense. Opposite side castles, so you want to start... both sides are starting like a pawn storm, going at each other's kings very quickly. Bishop f3, now the idea. So he wiggled his bishop in. g4 is actually now protected. He could have played it straight away, but just bishop f3 for now. I don't know, probably setting up nice discoveries with e5. So just bishop b7 to avoid that, and now g4. And rook c8. Probably not the most accurate move, but rook c8 is fine. Knight e7 was recommended by the computer, but really, who cares? Rook c8 makes a lot of sense. Bring your rook to the c-file. And here, well, it becomes very interesting. The computer starts recommending king to b1 for white, but we'll see why that is so important in a second. Okay, g5 now also seems to make a lot of sense. And now knight d7 and h4. Let's start those pawn storms. Knight to c5, and now actually the first blunder of the game. h5. It seems like a move that you should be playing. But actually, king b1 was recommended yet again in this situation, and now it's actually crucial to have tried getting this king to b1. And for the following reason, this line didn't happen in the game, but the move b4, after h5, the move b4 actually sets up an insanely interesting position, where the only option for white is actually to go knight d5. If he wants to play for equality, he needs to give up this knight. So let's quickly show you why. You can maybe just analyze this position for a second before we continue, but maybe pause the video and just check it out. But sorry, what did that happen? Okay, the move after b4, your only possible move for white to play for quality is knight to d5, and it's pretty insane. You need to give up this knight, but let's explore the other options. It's pretty weird, but knight to e2 is actually met by another really interesting move, knight to e5, and well, this seems insane. You're giving up the knight, but you can really ask yourself, what happens when you do capture the knight? F takes e5, bishop takes g5, and this queen is currently pinned, as you can see, but it's still holdable for white. Knight to f4, but black has just got an insanely comfortable position. If you're going to go bishop takes e5, black is very happy just playing queen to a5, and suddenly we can see a huge amount of coordination by black, and let's just say king to b1 now. There's always these types of attacks, and you need to realize that everything is under fire, even this rook on h1. A line I went through, I completely forgot about the rook on h1, because after that trade, look at how c2 is being attacked. You just want to defend it, but now suddenly, well, that bishop's also under attack, and black is running away with the game. That is if you capture that knight on e5. So there's actually not a lot of options. You're not supposed to capture this knight, which is really insane, because just look at that position. King b1 is something you can try. But now knight takes f3 and knight takes f3, and you just lose a central pawn. You can threaten mate, but black is actually fine playing like this, getting this pawn chain up and attacking your queen just stomps this attack completely. So an insane response, and I don't think Banele necessarily saw knight to e5 after g4. Sorry, knight to e5 after g4. Instead, white, okay, well, we know what's wrong with knight to a4. You can just simply trade, and look at how good that, sorry, let's just show it. You can trade. These pawns have been doubled. We can just see the attack coming, and really, what is white's compensation here? I'm not buying it. Just a simple move like queen c7 for black, and white is in desperate trouble. And I don't think other options like knight to b1 are just simply queen a5, and our point is yet again that we are overloading black's position completely. Here, white's king is actually relatively trapped, so that also doesn't turn out too well for white. And we looked at knight to e2. So knight e5 is actually your only option, and in this situation, black, okay, he can capture the knight, and then you've got the move h6, and it's highly recommended that you play g6 here. If you're going to ignore it, and well, actually, just for the joke of it, I tried knight e5. Although now it just doesn't work. You can just go h takes g7, and after that rook moves queen to h2, and black is now lost. Remember, now you're threatening mate and stuff, so knight to e5 just doesn't work over there. But so after g6, which is highly recommended, white just goes e takes, and after that knight falls back. He plays down a piece, but one of the big points is that the piece you're playing down is this. Well, it's a knight, but you've actually cramped up black's position quite well. Look at these bishops and the knights. There should be some compensation here for white. In any case, an insane line and insane ways to have to reach equality. This did not happen in the game, however. I just thought it very interesting to show the line after g4, the way white needs to hold on to equality via knight to d5. Because of the major threat knight to e5. Also, I think I didn't mention it completely, but after b4, knight e2, knight e5, we just also need to realize that this coordination. So tactics, let's say just after bishop to g2, look at this beautiful tactic, knight check, right? And if the pawn takes, we've got this double check hitting the queen. So stuff like this is also imminent, and I don't think you want to ignore this knight. Seriously, if you're going to go king b1, even knight f2 just picks up material. So what a great square for that knight to go to after the move b4. And I highly doubt Devon would have played knight to d5. Wouldn't have been anticipating knight to e5 by his opponent. In any case, let's just get back to the game. In the game, instead of b4, the move knight b4 was played. And here, Devon plays h6, which is perfectly fine, and g6. And now, a move that, well, when I looked at it, I thought, okay, well, it's game over for Banele. Queen d4. Just the threatening mate in one, right? And look at all this coordination. Bishop behind the queen. White seems relatively comfortable. Okay, when I looked at the game, I thought, okay, Banele doesn't have too much. Let me just show it from his perspective. And maybe pause the video here and find, well, what starts to be the winning continuation for Banele. And I think I'm referring to this moment as Vitchcraft, because I really enjoyed it. And Queen d4 is actually a blunder. So maybe just pause the video and see if you can find this. Okay, okay, if you found it, well done. Banele did find it. The move is, sorry, I'm flipping again. The move is a knight takes a2 check, right? So after this is taken, you need to realize that knight takes a2 doesn't work simply because of this knight takes b3 check, winning the queen, and you don't need to worry about the checkmate threat. So you need to move your king to b1. By the way, instead of queen to d4, Devon would have actually been fine still if he went king b1. Although it's not completely winning anymore. or wasn't completely winning. It was like +2. He had a great initiative going. King b1 would have been the way to play instead of queen d4, which to the eye just seems like such a good move. Banele finding that knight takes a2 was brilliant. He did think about it for 4 minutes 44 seconds, so don't feel bad if you didn't find it. It's one thing finding something over the board though when you don't know there's something to find. King b1 needed to be player. Devon also thought about for 3 minutes, and now quick as lightning the move e5. So Banele was calculating this, and he needed to find e5. e5 comes with tempo against the queen, and after f takes e5, the move knight to e6. You need to realize that this is closed, and both moves he's just played has been tempo moves against the queen, so he was able to do this. Now queen to d3 is fine, and knight takes c3 check. It's worth mentioning that by this point already, Devon was, well, it's a -2 situation. After this pawn took on e5, we need to realize that the pawn on g5 is tickets, and unless white can reopen any threats along, well, this diagonal, these pawns are going to go down, and also there's still a relative attack here on the queen side for black. So we had bishop takes c3, and just simply d takes e5, offering a queen trade, says that, well, I want to pawn very neatly, and also I'm attacking this g-pawn, so the endgame is going to suit me perfectly fine. Also just compare these bishops and this knight that, because of this interesting line that Devon chose, hasn't left the g1 square. Queen to e2 and queen c7. And actually what I'm going to show you now is just the beginning of the end. Maybe bishop takes e5 here would have been slightly better. Sorry, bishop takes e5. That's not the e5 square. But then again, black is perfectly fine playing knight takes g5, and still 2 pawns down for black. So let's just see the nice conversion. Tempo against this bishop and some coordination here. And knight f4, and suddenly Banele is invading bishop c5, queen h2, bishop d4, and a trade of bishops, and it just feels like after knight e6 offering that queen trade again, remember he's still going to pick up this pawn as well and have a great endgame. Rook d6 was the final real blunder, and knight takes g5 then just went after the pawn, and Banele converts this very swiftly, realizing here that well, trading pieces is good, so this is why the counter-attack, just picking up another pawn, opening the eyes of this bishop. And, well, you're probably getting this rook as well, so not much to do. Bishop takes c8, rook takes c8, not even going for this rook immediately. Rook d8 check, actually a very strange move, but it was actually the only way. Also possible maybe it was rook takes g6, but we can already realize that it's completely hopeless here for white, as he's playing down an entire piece. Also, just look at the invasion over here. So, if the rook just moves away, well, where does it go to, really? The queens are going to get traded. Also, this check is hitting the rook in the corner. So, not much to do here. Rook d8 check was tried, knight f3, and I'll just show the final moves. Look at black invading up, well, 2 pieces now. And this was the final move of the game. Not much to do. Also realize that queens need to be traded. This check is coming, and also a lot of coordination on c2. This is just over. But really an insane calculation there by Banele. Took him 4 minutes to see that, and it was really awesome to me, because when I was looking at the position myself, I just thought, well, queen d4, what are you doing here? This must be over for black. Just look at how comfortable white is, and then bam, came this calculation, and it was very exciting. I don't know what the result would have been if Devon had anticipated something this awesome, king b1, and I'm thinking white is still perfectly fine. But well done to Banele, and he also got first place in the under 20 sections, so very deservedly after a win like this. And okay, well, I'm going to be back for more South African chess games from that specific tournament. So if you want to keep up to date with them, remember to slap that clock, which, wait, let me just slap it really nicely, which is the subscribe button, so that you keep up to date. Okay, thanks for watching. See you guys soon. Bye.